In this episode, we have Matt from MiniWargaming in the studio. And as well as that, you could win the fabulous
Foreground City Watchtower. This thing is a monster kit, and we're going to be showing it off in the show.
Yeah, if you thought the Stoic Arms was good, will you get a load of this?
It's time for 28mm World War II action. Will you recreate history or reshape it your way? On the Bolt Action Hub at beastsofwar.com. Enter into the dangerous dungeons of myth as a mighty hero and stand against the darkness. Visit the Myth Hub on beastsofwar.com and begin your story.
Good morning, welcome to the Weekender. It's Weekender time. I'm joined by Justin.
Morning.
And Lloyd.
Hello.
Good morning, fellows.
You really have. Did someone really give him coffee?
I saw him drive in, sneakily hiding a can of something.
Good morning, gentlemen. Right, we've got gaming to talk, but before any of that, it's important that we mark the sad news of the passing of Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee, for someone of my generation and a bit older, is quite a special individual. He really is, because Christopher Lee, like, remember, whenever we were kids, the only horror movies we were really allowed to watch until the 80s, when all the video nasties all started to come in, were Hammer horror. Really, that was all you had, was the Hammer horror, like the Wolfman and Dracula.
Well, the
and stuff
Wolfman's
like
the one that always pops into my mind.
Well, but before my time, unfortunately.
Because they used to put them on like Sunday. It was like Sunday afternoon TV at one point, was it not?
Yeah, Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. You know, they were scary. They were scary to a youngster. You know, and Christopher Lee utterly terrified me as Dracula. You know, it's I have probably an entirely natural yet unnatural fear of vampires, just because of my young days watching vampire movies. Vampires utterly creep me out, and Christopher Lee was undoubtedly one of the best of them. And it amuses me that for all his body of work, Justin saw the news and turned around to me and said, oh, Count Dooku's dead.
No, I said Sauron's dead.
Or was it Sauron?
Well, I walked in and he went...
Or no, Saruman.
He went, Christopher Lee's dead. And I went, what? Superman's dead. And he went, sorry, man.
Saruman. I said, sorry, man.
Okay. Anyway.
So it was wrong on so many levels.
The thing about it is, you know, it's sad as a passing, but, you know, he's had such a long and amazingly fruitful life. You know, the guy is 93 years old. You know, he's had a really good innings. His body of work speaks for itself.
And that'll always stand, even though he's passed away now.
What is with the heavy metal music, though?
Oh, did you see the heavy metal music?
What is with it? What is with the heavy metal music?
Yeah, so can we get a clip of Christopher Lee and his metal band?
Yeah.
Here, have a look at this. Yeah. Everybody needs a hobby. Everybody needs a hobby.
It's so badly...
Quite a badass hobby.
But it's so badly green screened that him sitting like a king and the background's moving all... It's just weird.
Yeah,
I like it.
How many years ago do you think that was made?
2.
Well, but maybe a year and a half.
Really? Okay.
Anyway, one of the other things that he's really, really famous for was playing Scaramanga on James Bond. Do you remember that one?
Before my time, I'm afraid.
I
I hate to have missed it.
Yeah.
You are missing out.
Which of the Bond movies was this? Just so I can go out and find it.
Now we're all going to pull a blank.
Yeah, was it the man with the golden gun?
Yes, that was him.
Right, so I'll be going out this weekend to hunt that down.
Yes.
Because I am sorry to have missed that, because he is a brilliant actor.
Yeah. It's like I said, you know, it is sad to see anybody, you know, pass like that. But I can't help but smile, because the guy just brings a smile to my face. You know, his body of work is going to be there. and
And when someone gets to 93, it's like you say, what an innings, man.
Yeah, all I can just say is, well done. Just a round of applause for Christopher Lee. Well done, mate. Right. This week, we've put out another new show, haven't we?
Oh, yes. You're another one that you're in, Dustin.
Yes!
I'm slowly taking over Fridays.
We had, a few weeks ago, we had Wild West Exodus.
3 weeks ago, we had Wild West Exodus. Exploring Exodus kicked off.
Yep.
This week, we had Conquering Kings of War.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next week, we have...
Entering Warzone.
Entering Warzone. We are on a roll with new shows at the moment.
And I'm anchoring all of them. I told you, I'm taking over
Yeah,
Fridays,
you are in all of them, Martin.
Yeah, if you want to spend your Friday nights with Justin, this is exactly how to do it.
Yeah, so next week, Friday just passed was
Yeah.
Kings of War, and it's great to get another series out the door. I love the fact that we do the multi-part, we do the front stage bit, and we do the backstage bit.
Yeah.
It's a nice way of entertaining everyone. And then next week, I'm looking forward to the Warzone thing. If you're watching the vlogs, don't be surprised if next week you see Wednesday pop up and Lloyd sitting there going, I'm making another flipping intro.
Yeah, we're really, really pushing on the new content at the moment. We're trying to push it out there. We're really pushing. We have a lot of new developments for Backstage now that we're lining up to knock down one after the other over the summer break or during July and August. And I'm just really excited. I've been looking at the plans that we have for Backstage going forward, and I can't help but be excited by it. We've introduced a new player into Backstage, so we have some more functionality that we're tweaking, but we're testing the player out and stuff at the moment. So if you want to check out, remember that all these shows have an additional episode that's available to our Backstage members. Backstage is $3.79 a month, or you can buy an annual Backstage. The price of Backstage is going to be going up at some point in the near future, but we are grandfathering it for every Backstager that will already be a member. Your price will not go up unless you unsubscribe and come and resubscribe, and then you will be on the new price.
Yep.
But as long as you stay subscribed, you will be on the old price.
Which is great. I like that idea. I like the fact that we are going to basically reward the people who are supporting us right now.
Yeah.
By going, you've supported us. We're going to keep you at that level. You can keep enjoying the show. And then new people coming in, they have to pay a little bit more. But, it's a natural course of life that prices are going to go up.
Yeah, the cost of Backstage hasn't went up since we've launched.
Yep.
We do way more content now than we've ever done. We have so much more content that we would like to do, and other features and things like that put through Backstage.
Yep.
We have gradually been increasing the resolution of the videos in Backstage, and now we're experimenting with them going to 1080p, so like full HD. We just have a ton of plans for Backstage, but in order to be able to facilitate those plans, obviously we want to recruit more Backstagers, continue to grow the community. It's been growing at a fantastic rate over the last year. We want to keep doing that, but we also have to address the issue that the cost per Backstager for us has been creeping up. So in order for us to be able to continue doing that, we're going to have to bump the price up just a bit. It's not going to go up. Well, it'll go up a wee bit, but it's not an astronomical price increase.
Yeah.
But we have to do that so that we can better deliver the stuff we're delivering, which is costing us more per Backstager than what it was previously costing us per Backstager.
It's basically meaning the thing feeds itself and supports itself.
Yeah.
But I like the fact we're talking about it now. We're not just going, the price just went up.
No.
We're talking about it now to give you guys an opportunity to jump in.
Yeah, we're giving you plenty of notice. And I will reiterate, if you are a Backstager, nothing will change for you. It's being grandfathered for you. The only time it would change is if you cancel your Backstage and then come back again, you will come back at the new price.
That's more than fair enough.
I don't think it could be any fairer than that. The other thing that we did this week We've nailed. It's all down to this man here.
Yeah, I've taken
Congratulations, well done, mate.
Well,
we believe we have nailed the prizes.
all but 2 people, I believe, have been sorted. I'm waiting on a couple of details to come back in.
Yeah.
If you've won a prize, check your email because I've been emailing everybody that won a prize. So I have been getting in
And
touch.
if you've won a prize and you haven't heard from Justin, get in touch and let us know.
We'll see what
But
we can
we prizes are now pretty much 100% up to date.
Yep.
All the stuff that was due to leave our studio is gone.
Yep.
It's all out.
I took care of that with my own 2
Other
hands.
prizes directly from the manufacturers. The manufacturers have all been contacted. So keep in touch with us if nothing arrives. But again, if you haven't heard from Justin and you have won a prize, get in contact. Just use the prize claim form again.
Yeah.
And Justin is all over that. Or you could drop him an email to justin@beastsofwar.com.
Yep.
This is awesome. You're doing all these shows, you're doing all that. I'm going home, Justin. You can just do everything.
Just let him do it all. Yeah, he's doing really good.
Well, trust me, I will say this. I am happy to have the prizes back in my hands again because I know things get hectic and get busy. And I know with me living so close to the studio now, I can just take an afternoon and take care of it for everyone. It's not a big issue.
Speaking of prizes, do we have a cool prize by any chance this week?
Yes, as I had said at the start.
Yeah, that's right, we've said.
Yeah.
Do I grab it?
No, don't grab it yet.
Hey.
I want to take a quick break just to reset everything, okay? Because we're going straight to the City Watchtower. But stay tuned because the other big bit of news this week is we had Matt from MiniWargaming in the studio. So we managed to get a sit down with Matt. We didn't get as long as what I would like with Matt. It's
It was very much a flying whirlwind visit, wasn't it?
It was. It was. Let me explain, okay? MiniWargaming kicked off publicly about a couple of years before we started.
I don't think it was as far as forward as a couple of years.
It was there 8 years.
Are they really 8 years?
8 years. We had been in kind of
2007. I've got files dating back to.
Yeah, we were in stealth mode. Okay, we'll talk more about this with Matt and later in the show. But we were kind of in stealth mode, where we were working out what we were going to do, experimenting with some stuff, etc. And then they launched, and I've known Matt now for probably the guts of 6-7 years at least. And we chat back and forth from time to time. And he came over with his other half and his baby, and it was just so nice to be able to spend some time with him because the thing about Matt is, and me and Matt, if we had more time, would probably end up being really close friends because we have so much in common, and it was whenever he came over, rather than just thump him into a studio, what I did was I took him and his other half and the little girl and my little girl and took them all around the north coast to see the Giant's Causeway and just chillaxed and spent some quality time with him. So I apologize that we don't have a wealth of content. We don't have battle reports or anything like that. But originally Dave was going to come over and we were going to film all that. But whenever ultimately... it was nice just to spend some real quality time.
And Matt was on holiday too.
Yeah, he was very tired actually because he'd spent a good amount of time in London and then up in Nottingham. And then by the time that they'd reached here, I kind of I also felt sorry for them as well. And I thought, let's relax, let you chillax. And I think they had a lovely time. But we have a fascinating conversation. If you've ever wondered about the ins and outs of running like a YouTube channel and building up to this kind of thing, myself and Matt and Lloyd, Justin. It was myself, Matt, and Justin are going to be having a chat about that.
Yeah, we also covered some of the experiences that the two companies have actually both went through on the way up to this stage, which is a really interesting part of the discussion for me.
It'll be good. It'll be good. So stay tuned for that. But before that, I'm going to take a very quick break, find out about a couple of hubs. When you get back, we're going to talk prize.
Become a general of mighty armies at the Kings of War Hub. Take command of elves, dwarves and orcs in this game of massed fantasy combat on beastsofwar.com. anime cyberpunk style meets skirmish combat in Infinity. Experience 8 high-tech factions and fight to control the human sphere at the Infinity Hub on beastsofwar.com.
Okay, so this week we are giving away, with Foreground, this utterly incredible terrain piece.
Just look at it.
Oh,
It is a gigantic kit.
it is. You know, I've been blown away by the Mortenberg range that they've been doing. If you've been following along, we've been showing it off over the course of the last few months. But talk about a centerpiece. Like, I thought the Stoic Arms was
it was the home run. The
I
one up
thought
park.
it was going to be the main centerpiece of Mortenberg. And boy, how wrong was I. As beautiful as the Stoic Arms is, look at that!
Shall we start going through the levels? Because there are, I think, about 7 levels to this monster.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's have a look at it. So,
Well, it's in the name, isn't it? Because it's called the City Watchtower.
yeah.
Are they aiming to build an entire city of this stuff?
You have a city of this stuff
I suppose because you've got the front streets, the back streets,
now.
the arms, this.
Yeah. You know, what are we missing? Maybe something that was a bit more of like a blacksmith's or something like that, possibly.
Maybe something more commercial, maybe stables or something might be cool.
Maybe, but you know, it's just incredible.
Right.
Right.
Let's
Take us
start
through
at
it.
the very top. So,
Okay.
we have the top of our watchtower with our nice little entryway.
Mm-hmm.
Beneath that, we have our first level, so you'd assume this is your bunk room
Yeah.
for all your guardsmen.
Yes. Yeah.
We're then moving further down to our next level. Again, more sleeping space.
Uh-huh.
Next up, we're down to our first large...
Now imagine the skirmish
Walkway.
battle out on the.
Oh, I can just imagine playing D&D on this.
Well, for me, the reason I am so excited about this is for the new Warhammer Fantasy. It's going to go skirmish. Okay. Imagine orcs, on this
Assaulting
stuff,
this.
assaulting this. Oh, it's going to be great.
Yeah, lots of humans just trying to defend it.
But would you guys play on it?
Hell yes!
No. Obviously you're going to play on it, but would you play on it level by level?
Yeah, you just work your way up through it.
Even in a skirmish game, or would you just keep that for like...
No, I'd be tempted to basically make an agreement beforehand of how you were going to do it.
Yeah.
And then if you were going to enter a level, fight through the level. We're going to go up the stairs, right? Well, that's fine. We'll go up the stairs. There's so much you could do with it.
I would do pre-generated levels. So do it old school video game style. Right, you've cleared the first level. Let's show what's in the next.
Yeah.
Thunk.
You would have your skirmish battle through the whole building.
Yeah.
In other words, the building would be the focus of the battle.
Yeah.
But you would end up laying out all the floors so you could be battling in all the rooms.
You could do it that way. Where you basically lay it all out and you're battling from room to room as well.
Yeah, so your force arrives at the tower. Right, we're in the tower. Break the tower down so you can battle your way up through it.
Yeah. You would just have a separate side table just for that. Oh, yes.
See, I would have you fight up level by level. So as you go up the level, the monsters are already there waiting on you.
Yeah.
And you're then having to fight through them, old school video game style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a possibility as well.
I think that
Do you want to be fantasy Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that old game.
You could totally do that.
But it's absolutely beautiful.
Now, point out the different zones in this particular
Okay,
level.
so I'll assume this is an office space.
Yeah.
We have our stairwell, balcony, and balcony.
Now, look at those stairs, right?
Yep.
The fact that those stairs are rickety. There's the beauty of the Mortenberg range is the fact that they're able to mask all the squareness of an HDF build.
Yep.
The buildings are kind of rickety. They're not straight. But the engineering that it took to make them go together and not be straight, yet still go together flawlessly, is just unreal. It just blows me away.
Precision chaos.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, our next level is your favourite, Warren, for one simple feature.
Yes.
So we have our main room here. I'll assume this is some form of interrogation room to begin with.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't give up what you're talking about or what you're meant to, you're going underneath this.
What is it? Is it a toilet?
Yeah,
It's a toilet.
It's a shitter.
With working doors.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're going underneath it?
Well, that's what comes in on the next level.
Right.
So,
Put it on and show us.
all right, so let me line it up because you have to make sure and line it up correctly.
Yeah.
So there's our toilet, and just
Yeah.
beneath it, you have a couple of little manacles.
Look at that there.
So basically, Warren had actually threatened to find a miniature with its arms up. stick my head onto it and have me underneath that.
Oh, we're doing that.
But I need to get his head modelled with his mouth open going, ah.
No, it would be being like this.
Yeah. So, do you know what it's called?
No, have you came up with a name for this?
All I can think of is called the hitter shitter. So it's like
The crapper splatter.
The splatter crapper. Yeah, that's it.
It's probably something similar to a poop deck
yes.
Possibly.
on a ship. I don't know if that's why a poop deck's called a poop
Again,
deck.
Now there's a little piece that goes on there. We've took it off just so as you can actually see down into it. But there is a little piece that goes on there. It's like a little
the bog
roof.
has its own roof. You're not going to get rained on.
I think the next level is going to be my favourite level.
Yeah.
Well, if we take this away,
The
we then have-
jailhouse.
the actual
jailhouse.
jail cells on the bottom level. Oh, and the actual jail doors swing as well.
Absolutely sold.
That's one thing I love about all these kits is
Well, we can't really
all of
see
the
it.
doors actually swing.
Yeah.
You know, so you can open and close them at will, which I love. And then on the outside, you've got all the little wanted posters and stuff.
But look
on
at
it
the
again.
brickwork on the outside as
Yeah,
well.
you see, this is something they've learned from the Adobe buildings,
Yeah.
the Saudi Arabian ones. They've brought that through into Mordenberg, and on the inside of the cells, you've got more little manacles.
Yeah.
The actual way to actually do those little manacles is really, really clever as well.
Mm-hmm.
I am absolutely blown away. Oh, and your staircase comes out if you want.
Yeah. What a kit. What
Fantastic.
a kit.
Absolutely mind-blowing.
The kit is available for sale, so if you can't wait, just go ahead and pick one up. It's sitting there. We're going to be giving it away. You put it together, and I will tell them how to win it. Okay? So this week, I'm going to challenge you guys. Okay? So Foreground in the fantasy realms have been working away on Mordenberg. Okay? But I have it on good authority that Mordenberg is just one of the realms, the fantasy type realms that they're going to be tackling. They're going to be tackling others. So in other words, other fantasy styles. So Mordenberg for me feels very much like the lake town in The Hobbit. You know, it has that kind of town kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm just getting flashbacks to the Krypton factor here.
Twiddling stuff around.
So the challenge for you guys this week is here on beastsofwar.com or on this video on YouTube or on the clip that we've put up on Facebook. Post what you think should be the next fantasy realm, so fantasy style. Is it castle walls? Is it ruins, kind of Lord of the Rings style? Is it, I don't know, like a
Dungeons?
mine? Like a mine or a dungeon? What do you think should be the next fantasy realms that Foreground should tackle? And then we'll be picking a winner at random, and we'll maybe talk about some of the suggestions in next week's show or a couple of weeks.
Do you know what you could do with this stuff? You could remake the Game of Thrones intro to the music and then just have the layers.
Just have the layers building up.
Just don't have me do it.
So, there we have it, guys. That is the grand prize for this week. It is absolutely incredible. We're going to take a break. After the break, we're going to come back. We're going to have a good long chat with MiniWargaming Matt. This is a doozy. It's been an absolute pleasure having him over. So enjoy this. And yeah, it's a good one.
Humanity has been driven from Earth, but now it's time to take it back. Join the Reconquest and fight the Scourge on the Drop Zone Commander Hub at beastsofwar.com. Keep your blaster handy, the West is a dangerous place. Fight to survive as men turn to monsters and the dead rise on the Wild West Exodus Hub at beastsofwar.com.
Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm joined by Matt of
everybody.
MiniWargaming.
That's right, MiniWargaming.
Welcome, dude.
What's going on?
It's been way too long. It's been a lifetime. We've never actually met in person.
No, we haven't.
You know,
Skype plenty of
we've
times.
Skyped loads of times, and we've chatted, and we've done. We see each other on YouTube all the time.
Yep.
But this has been our first ever opportunity in all that time because we've never crossed paths at a convention or anything. Matt is on his UK tour.
That's right.
The UK World Tour of MiniWargaming.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of a vacation, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff to see here.
Well, welcome on the show.
Thank you.
I know we're pressed for time. You've got a busy schedule. But we were chatting about, we had to make a video. We had to make a video of something.
Well, when we planned our vacation, we're like, we want to go to the UK. We knew that much. And we wanted to see Warhammer World. We had to do at least one meetup at some place for people to come and just ask questions. Dave, unfortunately, wasn't able to make it because there was a death in the family. But and then we thought about it, we're like, we can't go to the UK without taking a side trip, because it's just a side trip, right? Not like a full day's worth of traveling, to come to Ireland to meet up with Beasts of War, because we, like you said, we've never met.
We had to do it.
We've talked countless times and corresponded and worked together or whatever, and more or less for the past how many years. So
I just want to take a quick moment actually just to reach out to Dave to say, Dave, you and your family are in our prayers, mate, and we love you, big guy. So we will be chatting to you again soon, I'm sure.
Well, hopefully he'll be able to make up the trip up as well later on.
Yeah.
So I don't know when that'll be, though.
It'd be cool to get him over.
Yes.
Let's talk a bit about YouTube.
Yes.
Because I know you get it, and we get it too. Emails from time to time of people asking, can you give us some tips? And, how did you get in and get started in the whole thing in YouTube? And now it seems like as good a time as any to answer that, considering we're both sitting here. We have some experience of how to do it. Do you want to talk about? Let's talk about how we got started.
Yeah.
Do you remember? It's a long time ago.
I remember. I remember because it's been quite the journey. I've been asked lots of times, like, if I were to start from scratch right now, like how I would do it, and it's a hard question to answer because, as you know, a lot of the growth that we've had over these past, I don't know how many years, we're almost at our 8th year, has been organic, has been kind of reactive, where we started thinking we're going to do one thing, and then that's changed over the past 8 years. I think finally we know what we're going to be doing. I'm almost confident I could tell you 10 years from now what we'll be doing. I don't know how much money we'll be making or how many viewers we'll have, because that's, you can't tell the future. But I think I know what we'll be doing because it's working for us now. But we started off, the idea that was we would have an online store selling wargaming related products, primarily started with Games Workshop products, of course, and that we'd have a YouTube channel where we'd make wargaming related videos, attract viewers, and then send them over to our store, and they'd buy stuff from us, and we'd become millionaires, right?
That was the plan.
That's the internet, right? That's right. You make lots of money from the internet, and that obviously didn't work for a variety of reasons, and some of which we won't go into. But basically, because online marketing in the small market isn't as lucrative as we had hoped it would be. But really what it came down to is that we came in early, both Beasts of War and MiniWargaming, early in YouTube. Like, people forget, I think, sometimes how young YouTube is. Yeah. Like, didn't they just recently celebrate their 10th anniversary?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Just, they put up a video about that. 10th anniversary, like, we're 8 years old. Yeah. YouTube's 10 years old.
Yeah, we were there for 6 of them. Yeah. Yeah. And we started on the same basis, because when you guys started, we were in, what was the internet term for it back then? It was like silent mode. Right. Where we were...
scoping out the market.
Beasts of War was going to be an e-commerce store. That was the original intention of Beasts of War. We were going to go into e-commerce, and we had designed our e-commerce front end. We had model 360s going. We had a photorealistic paint a Space Marine application where you could pick and choose from Games Workshop's current range of paints. And back then, it was the paints in the little hexagonal pots with the black tops. And you could pick colors and apply them to the panels of a Space Marine. And we had done it in such a way that it was using, it was photorealistic. It looked exactly, because we had a photo of the miniature and we applied color to it programmatically, so that it actually went over the surface and the curvature. We had all of it. We had guys in from Games Workshop. We were showing them what we were planning on doing and all of that there. The only thing was that for us based in Northern Ireland at that time, the logistics of doing an e-commerce store was going to be very, very difficult, and we didn't want to do a crap e-commerce store. So it gradually, we enjoyed more and more the media side of it.
Well, back then, the e-commerce was kind of like this shiny thing.
It was very difficult to do.
Yeah, it was hard to do, but the people who were doing it were making lots of money. Like, this is... Amazon existed, but it wasn't as big as it is today. Like, all these things, it was still a new... the dot-com bubble burst had happened long enough before. that it's like, yeah, we can make money from the internet, but people are still figuring out how. Like they still are. They definitely still are. But
what you didn't have then that you kind of have today is, you didn't have the kind of joined up processes to make it really efficient.
yes,
There was a lot of inefficiencies in that whole thing, and that was ultimately what put us off. That and our skill base, if I'm being honest, was more on the front end than on the operational side. So we kind of said goodbye to that whole operational side and said, you know what, we're going to focus on content, entertainment, and see where we go. And then we kind of just soft launched after that. It was fun times. YouTube was a bit of a Wild West, back then. It was.
Well, the fact that a channel like Smosh or Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred.
The fact that could become popular.
Yeah. Fred was the first ever channel to reach 1 million subscribers.
Oh, right. And it was just this guy who sped up his voice. Mm-hmm. He had a Justin Bieber haircut, and it was pretty awful. Like I remember watching an episode and being mildly entertained by it, and then I just couldn't watch another one after that.
Then it's the question of how many 12-year-olds just went click, like, click, like, click.
Well, no, it was subscribe. But the interesting thing was, whenever he reached 1 million subscribers, I thought, how will anybody ever do that again? And now your top channels have, 30 million subscribers?
Well, it's not just that, but like Minecraft.
Yeah.
There are a lot of channels that do nothing but Minecraft videos that have more than 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you can go into a specific market, I don't care how big that computer game is, it is still a computer game.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just do a channel dedicated to one computer game, and there's lots of them that have more than 1 million subscribers, tells you the explosion that they went from. So,
the growth of it has been just phenomenal.
Yeah. And there are kids growing up today who will think YouTube always existed.
Yeah.
And who knows what it'll look like in 10 years from now, too.
But it's one thing doing it in that marketplace. The marketplace that we deal with on Day and Daily is so niche compared to that. So it's sometimes, you could start up a YouTube channel and you might get disheartened, because you see these channels maybe set up by somebody. It's amateur stuff, but it's related to Minecraft, and they've 300,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers, and you're pushing along, and you maybe get to 100 or 1,200 subscribers, and you get disheartened. But you have to understand that the economics of the two things are like night and day.
Well, that's the thing that kind of comes to it all, is that we look at these other bigger channels. And I remember when we started, we kind of looked around at the other Wargaming related YouTube channels, and the biggest one, which was Blue Table Painting, had 2,000 subscribers. And I remember looking at it thinking, one day we'll grow up and be as big as them and have 2,000 subscribers. And he was posting a lot of videos, which was the
it was the way to do it then.
And it still is, actually, if you can get that quantity. That's why a lot of these computer game channels do so well, as opposed to like the other ones like Smosh or the sci-fi shows, the ones where they just post out a couple videos a week, is because they can quickly make that content. Like sit down, turn on their streaming software, plug in their microphone, turn on their webcam maybe if they've got the face for it, and then play. And 20 minutes later, they've got a video, but they don't have to do anything to except upload, right? And maybe like title and description and all that.
Yeah, and then if it's, say, Wargaming, you have that input beforehand. Say we wanted to play a battle report, I have to build my army, paint my army, build my list, build my table.
But at the same time, so what happens is you get this economics of you hear about people making money with YouTube because they get the advertising revenue, and you think, well, maybe we can do that. But then you realize that your market's too small, so then you think, well, then how do you make money from it? But you have to realize that there's a different type of market. A person who goes and watches a general interest YouTube channel, or one that's in a big market, is not going to be as fanatic about that as somebody who is in a niche market. And as somebody who's in a niche market, such as Wargaming, there's lots of other ones out there too. They might not be as big as a market, but that person has the potential to spend more money. Because they think about how much money Wargamers spend in their hobby. And as opposed to like somebody spending money on computer games, you might think, well, you could spend a lot of money on computer games. But in the end, let's be honest, you buy one computer game for $60 or $70, and you can get 100, 200 hours of
if it's got multiplayer online,
yeah, sure, or Skyrim.
Let's take Minecraft for example.
Yeah, Minecraft.
Okay? Like if you get addicted to Minecraft and spend 5 years on Minecraft,
I've been there.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to spend what you're going to spend if you're buying a Blood Angels
Not
army
per hour.
But you could have it with something like, say, World of Warcraft, where it's a continuous fee to keep playing the game.
But they're still struggling with that, though, because Blizzard, once again, this is an early adopter thing. This is what I'm talking about for all of this, is that Blizzard came in and they were the first to, they weren't the first to do an MMO.
They were the
but
first
they were
to do
the
it
first
well.
to do it well. And, obviously everybody's going to have their opinion on that. But let's just face it, they were the first to do it well. And so they all of a sudden got all the subscribers for that. And now everybody else is just trying to do what they're doing. And none of them have really done it successfully. And that tells us something, that maybe that is a flash in the pan thing that in 20 years from now, we're not going to see as big a thing. Whereas, and the same thing happens with YouTube, like the early adopter thing where Fred was able to build up 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
If somebody else comes on and makes videos like that right now, they're not building 1 million subscribers.
No.
It's not likely to happen.
And nor is Fred going to reach 10 million subscribers.
Yeah, he's done.
It's done. It's over.
It's burnt.
It was of its moment.
Yeah, now World of Warcraft,
so-
I'm not going to try to predict for MMOs and where that all is going. I'm just saying that the advantage that we've had is kind of getting in there when YouTube was still young. Now, I'm not trying to discourage, because the last thing I'd want to do is discourage anybody from creating their own YouTube channel, because I think it would be great that more people did it. But it's more to realize that just some of it was just dumb luck.
Yeah.
And I try to tell people that. I'm like, you might see success, but what you don't see is the other 99% of failures. All the videos that we no longer make, all the things that we've tried. We tried an e-commerce store. We tried making miniatures. We tried making Flock early on.
Whoa, was that a curse? I can't.
No,
really
it was Flock.
Flock.
Okay.
Flock.
Flock.
Okay, that's fine.
like that.
That's fine. I'm used to be on the other end of that, where people can't understand when I curse.
No. I'm talking about the
Yes,
green
I know the
stuff.
grass.
Yeah.
The grass.
Not even static grass. I'm talking about Flock. We
Made from
discovered-
sawdust.
From
wasn't it?
sawdust.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, that's
I'm like,
fine.
hey, this is way cheaper than buying it from Games Workshop. Maybe we can mass produce this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of embarrassing to talk about, because now in hindsight I realize how naive it was. But it was one of the things. Like, if somebody were to come to me and say, I have this great business idea, I'm going to make Flock, I would laugh at them inside. On the outside, I would advise against it and think this guy's not a very good businessman. But we did that.
Yeah.
So a lot of, and this goes for any business, a lot of it is about being in the right place at the right time. But at the same time, you can't be in the right place at the right time without
Unless you're trying stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're not just going to be able to sit back and have something happen. So that's all I'm trying to say here. And so, not to discourage, but just to realize that to duplicate another business is nigh impossible. So you have to approach it as your own. You have to go to the market and say, what is it that I can contribute to this market?
Yeah.
And bring yourself to it, bring your own passion to it, and then be willing to change it and completely do something different as you get more experience. That's really what you have to do.
Because if you can't do this kind of thing unless you love it.
Yeah.
You have to have a love for at least some aspect of it, because it becomes all consuming. The amount of
this is a
effort
lifestyle job for
required
me.
to do it.
I'll go home and I'll still be working on miniatures and stuff through the evening, even though I've just done, say, an 8-hour day working on videos or actually filming stuff.
Yeah.
So there is more to it than just going, this is my 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, well, for sure, especially with this hobby. This hobby it's all consuming. Now, for myself, it's just the 40 hours a week that I put into the business that I actually do anything wargaming related, just because 3 kids and all that stuff at home makes it harder. But during those 40 hours, on average on a week, I can play anywhere from 4 to 8 games, running narrative
All
campaigns.
filmed?
All filmed.
Yeah.
I never play without it being filmed, because it always feels like a waste.
Yeah.
I tell people that. I'm like, you see, I got rules wrong? That's because you're watching me in every single game I play.
Yeah.
Occasionally, maybe once a year, there'll be a game that we play that's not filmed. Or the rare occasion where we scrap one.
Yeah.
And so it was filmed, but then we don't show it because it was just bad. But yeah, so for me, the business is where I experience the hobby. And then after that, I don't have any chance for that. But it's still all consuming and big for that. So, but I guess when it comes down to it, if I were to say something, if you want to create a YouTube channel for wargaming, first off, it's going to be hard to make money from it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it for the money.
Yeah, you have to start it off because...
But let's be honest, there's very few people in the whole wargaming industry that are doing whatever business they do within the wargaming industry for the money.
Specifically for the money.
Yeah, because it's because that level of rewards simply aren't there. Because even the big Kickstarters, that reach 1 million, 1.5 million.
Doesn't matter if they
Guess
hit that,
what? By the time they've finished, they've
gone.
spent 1.5 million at least. It's so a lot of it just comes down to your motivation has to be right. It's you can reach a stage where you might be able to monetize it to some degree. But if that's your only motivation, check out Minecraft.
I'll tell you, maybe I'm not sure how many people know this, but when we started the business, and I've talked about this before in some of my sit and talk shows, but I don't know exactly this portion how many people know. Like Dave approached me. The way that this business started was that Dave approached me. He was running a landscaping business, and he was making money, but he hated it. Just hated it. And I was running my own marketing business, and I was making money, and I didn't hate it. I was enjoying myself enough, but I love business. I love business and marketing. And he came to me and said, I don't want to do landscaping. Let's do a business together. And just 3 months before that, we had gotten into wargaming. 3 months. We got into Lord of the Rings at a games workshop. And so I'm like, well, within that 3 months, I had spent like $3,000 in miniatures.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, because we were into it, and he was into it too. And I'm like, well, we're into this Warhammer thing, and I've been reading and studying about e-commerce, and this whole video thing is kind of new, and it looks interesting. So why don't we do a business based around that? And in the first, we probably didn't make any money, like real money, for the first 2 or 3 years at least. And it took like 6 years to actually be able to say, yeah, I think this business is going to work.
Yeah.
But in those first couple of years, I think there was at least 3 occasions where I approached Dave and said to him, this isn't working. We should shut it down. Like I did that. Because from a business point of view, it didn't make any sense.
No.
Like we weren't making any money. And it was just so little. It was so pitiful. And the only reason we continued was because there's 2 things. 1, we really liked the hobby. And 2, he desperately didn't want to do landscaping.
I feel his pain.
Yeah.
I feel his pain because before doing this, I was a carpenter.
Okay, yeah, it's the same
And
idea.
I absolutely hated it. John went off to university. I asked Lloyd one evening if he wanted a hand to edit some stuff. He said to me, you got a job? I was going to volunteer, but okay. And then it has grown from that for us as well, because I've seen us go through the growing pains of adding new equipment, moving from here to England to back to here.
Yes.
But it's been
that again is trying stuff.
Yeah. You never know what's going to stick.
It's every company has its detractors. Well, we have one or two in particular. But one of his blog posts at one point was saying, well, they tried this, and then they tried that, and they tried the other, and then they tried this. But it was a case of we try this stuff because you're kind of seeking out the opportunities and the things that might work, and but the thing is, you're not trying it willy nilly. You're trying it and then trying to measure it at the same time. To see. Now, sometimes trying is a big thing. The like moving the whole thing over
England,
to Essex. We couldn't have predicted the rock and the hard place that we would have stuck in there. The same way as with the store, you ended up in this
crushed between the rock and the hard place.
Unbearable situation. But it's hard to predict those things in advance. But all you can do is try and measure and see what happens, and then hopefully, for every step back you're taking a couple of steps forward.
Yeah. And that's where the luck comes in too.
Yes.
Because like if when I look at the business now, and if I were to sum up my business, or our business, obviously, because it's both Dave and I in mine, I would say if I were to have to like hashtag it, it'd be hashtag 40K, hashtag battle reports, and hashtag vault. Yeah. And whereas with the beginning of it, it would have been more e-commerce, general wargaming. We didn't do our first battle report for 8 months. Yeah. Like it was 8 months in that we did our first battle report. And then I was just recently looking at this because it was just nostalgia kind of thing. It was kind of embarrassing, but still, looking through all those original videos, battle reports weren't our main thing. We'd actually film a battle report, split it up into 5 parts because it would take so long. Yeah. And we would deliver those once per week. So we'd have 5 weeks of content. It's just one battle report. So now we do like several of them a day. But back then, it was like it wasn't our thing. We were trying terrain tutorials. We were trying funny videos. We were trying.
My favorite video, which
Uh-oh.
was Dave's walkthrough of your new offices
Eating an apple?
at the time, eating an apple. And do you know what? It was lovely watching it. You know, and to this day,
Don't remember it.
The two videos that just stick in my mind. Because we were gearing up to launch ourselves at that point, and we saw you guys moving into some offices, and we thought, you know,
Out of my basement.
That's a good sign. Seeing that, you know, and watching Dave walk around those offices, and he was, you know, and it was like 8 guys could battle it out in there, and we're going, this is going to be awesome watching this. And then the other one was Dave went on a trip to a convention. A little local convention, I believe it was, and they had standy Space Marines and stuff like that there. And then just that last shot of him walking away from the convention, his little bag of goodies in hand, exhausted but hyped, and I just fell in love at that point. Yeah, it was like it was brilliant.
Yeah. Now, I would say the things not to focus on if you're starting your own YouTube channel is tweaking how many views you get. Tweaking how many subscribers you get, tweaking how many likes you get.
No, tweaking.
I mean, like, I remember, maybe this isn't as big a thing anymore, but I don't pay attention to it anymore. I remember when I first started my YouTube channel, there was all sorts of ways to get YouTube subscribers.
Yeah.
And by ways, I mean ways to get YouTube subscribers. I think like sub for sub. Remember sub for sub?
Yes.
Sub for sub. Like, I'll sub for you if you sub me, and you can grow our YouTube channels together. Thankfully, I didn't do any of that stuff because it never made sense. But a lot of people would, and they'd grow artificially their YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Or hiring people to contact others and try to get them to there's lots of some people consider it shady. It's not so much shady as it is just kind of a waste of time. Because is it unethical to say I'll sub to you if you sub to me? No, but is it going to benefit your business?
Not really, because it's just a number that's not meaning anything more.
The number of subscribers we have actually has 0 monetary benefits. The number of Vault members we have, on the other hand, does.
Yeah.
And it's sure you might think, well, if you have more subscribers, they're more likely to show up in your feed. But really, what it comes down to, and what it always comes down to, for pretty much any market, is you have to create a good product.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try to tell you a product will sell itself, but you know what? With social marketing, it actually does. In other markets, there's a lot of different kind of advertising. We've tried every bit of traditional advertising there is to do online and offline to boost our YouTube, but in the end, none of that did anything.
Yeah.
And we even tried like making sure we have all the right tags, make sure we title and description it so it shows up in the search engines.
Yep.
And in the end, the videos that get the most views
are the ones people like.
The ones that they like.
Yeah.
I know, weird, right? Because guess what happens when somebody likes a video? We're in a social marketing day.
Man, have you seen this? It was good.
Yeah, they share it.
Exactly, because people want to share stuff that they enjoyed. It's a social thing that we do. It's like a social currency we have, that if I like something, I'm eager to tell somebody else about it, because if they like it too, we do this subconsciously, or some people might do it consciously. If I tell you about a movie I liked and you like it, that adds a bit to my status to somebody else around me. That's why social marketing works so well, because if there's something funny or entertaining or useful, and if you share
being the guy that brings it to everyone else's attention, I feel I'm good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and you don't necessarily do it because you don't think of that way, but you are.
It does happen.
It's programmed into you to do that. And so when you make a good piece of content and somebody watches it, it can, because our battle reports, they all have the same types of titles. Like if I do a beat map bat rep and I do Tyrannus versus Space Marines, and then I do another beat map bat rep and it's Tyrannus versus Space Marines, the only difference in the title is the episode number.
Yeah.
So we can't say anything about this one got more views because of search engine rankings, because they're both called Tyrannus versus Space Marines, Warhammer 40K Battle Report, beat map bat rep, episode, whatever.
It's the same
title.
underlying content.
And even our descriptions are like, so-and-so brings in his such and such at this many points and battles Matthew's such and such. Like that's there's your description.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get excited about the particular one and add in something more flavorful, but whatever. But this one gets 10 times as many views as that one. It's like, why is it? It's because it was a great game, and so people share it, they talk about it, they like it, they comment on it, which YouTube's algorithms then share it and put it in related videos. Like, it really boils down to that.
See, this is something Warren talks about a lot, is those water cooler moments. If you can make those happen within videos where people are away from the video talking about what's in the video, it suddenly cycles on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's remembering that you're trying to create content for people, for you guys, and we want you guys to talk about what we do, because that's the ultimate way for us to be able to achieve our mission, which is spreading the hobby that little bit more every day through content. And it's an endless task.
It sure is.
Because you have to keep doing it.
You have to experiment.
Because you could create a successful video, but it fades away very quickly, and you got to keep going. It's unless you come up with something like Gangnam Style,
Suddenly it goes viral.
But it will fade.
Too.
It will fade.
Now the nice thing is that there is good news for if you're willing to put in, do this for a long time, is that videos do fade. But when you take, we call it, it's the long tail.
The long tail.
So you take this long tail, which you think of it like a graph, that you have your, I don't know what they call the other end, but I know what
the short head.
The short head and the long tail. All right, there we go. But the long tail is the important part. Because, you get all those views at first, and then maybe later on it only gets a few views. But then once you have 1,000 videos, all
those 1,000 videos all get a few views.
Yeah.
Well, a proportion of them all get a few views
exactly.
in and around that.
And it actually, but what happens is because of the way search engines work and because of YouTube, the way it works is that then more of your videos start showing up in other people's feeds. And then you start to get this cyclical effect, of course, which is what's happened to us is that, because we've got more people watching, YouTube will recommend it to more people in related videos, which means more people will watch, which then makes it's kind of the rich get richer kind of mentality.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you can't get into that. You just have to put in the work. Like we didn't grow to 170 something thousand subscribers in 6 months. This is 8 years later almost. And so that it does take that time. And really, even when you think about it, that's in this market it might be big, but it's not that big.
Yeah,
half the reason that we're growing is because YouTube grew, and YouTube is still growing, which means that you start now, 8 years from now, who knows what it'll look like.
Yeah.
But you have to have that mentality when you're coming into this, and this goes for any business, that you can't expect to make money quickly. That it has to be something. And if you're just doing this for fun, then the same principles still apply, because even if you're doing it for fun, you still want more people watching it. In the end, business or for fun, same goal.
Yep.
Lots of views. Now, the business takes it one step further, which is monetizing those views. And I'm sure personal doesn't mind that either. But business focuses on the monetization. Otherwise, they can't be a business. But the same goal is there, and that's to get that point of lots of views. And either way, you have to have, you can have the best networking. You can be on primetime TV. If you have a crappy TV show, then sure, being on Prime TV will get you more views than if you're just on some other network that
but you won't stay there.
But you won't stay there, and then people will stop watching that network at that time because they don't like you, and that's why you won't stay there.
It might go one step further to where you have the people who constantly knock your show down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Now, thankfully, of course, there's the saying, haters are going to hate.
Oh yeah,
and that's YouTube in a nutshell. There's way more positive than there is negative in their viewership. Of course, negative is louder than positive, but so you have to that's something that should probably be addressed really quickly. Is I always like to say, ignore what people say and pay attention to what they do. And so if you're getting people giving you negative feedback, of course you need to listen to that and see if there are things you need to incorporate to improve. But in the end, if a certain video gets tons of views and it gets more negative comments than another video that gets less views, it's about the views.
Yeah.
Because they might be being negative about it, but people are watching it. And so if you think about it, the people that get the most views are obviously going to have the most haters as well, because it's just the way life is, that the more popular a TV show or movie is, the more critical people will be of it. And the less popular something is, the less critical people will be about it, because it's just an indie film, so we'll be nicer to them. Like I've seen on Rotten Tomatoes, certain awful movies get like 99% or 100% because only 2 critics reviewed it.
Yeah,
and they're both like those types. They're like, "Oh, it was so awesome because it was so unusual," and everybody else just hates it.
Yeah, and I just went, you know what? I'm not even going to touch it.
Exactly. Whereas the bigger movies, like Avengers, critics are never. I know critics liked it, but at the same time, like the critics, or can pick it apart. the new Star Treks. I can pick those things up to pieces.
But when it's such a big IP, there's so many people in on it then.
Exactly.
You're guaranteed to get the people that are going to go, no, this is not what I had imagined. No, you've done it wrong.
Yeah, but in the end, look at the amount of money they made.
Yeah.
And they did something right.
Yep.
So it's a case of keep the faith. It's you will as you get into something like this and you grow it, you'll get feedback from all quarters. You'll get positive feedback. You'll get negative feedback. You'll get feedback that you don't even understand what that feedback's actually about.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times.
I got a fantastic piece of feedback one time about how dare I act the way I acted in a particular video that I wasn't even in. and
that was the problem.
It's fun, we laugh about it, but whatever the feedback is, you have to take it and you have to weigh it up with what can you actually do. You can only do what you can do at that moment in time with whatever you've got to hand to do it with. So we have seen feedback over the years, a lot of it have agreed with, but some of it, there's just nothing I can do about it at that stage. Maybe in the future, if we continue to grow, we continue to widen the community, there's things that we can do about it. But, some things you just, what can you do?
you have to work
I
through it
agree
until
with you,
can.
man, but we're just not at a place
We
where
don't have that much money.
we just don't have what it would need to be able to do something about that.
Yeah.
Matt, it's an interesting conversation. We'll have to do a live hangout whenever you get home and get settled to continue it.
Give me a week or two to not be jet lagged.
Let's do a midweek hangout, okay? And we'll get a chat going because we've got to get this man to a train as well here. But look, it's been an absolute pleasure having you over.
Well, thanks for having me on, Ross.
Don't leave it so long before you come back.
I'll do my best.
Make sure you come back.
Well, hang on, Warren. We could knock you out and stick you on a plane.
You would have to knock me out.
Come on over to Canada.
To stick me
we'll
on
do a battle report.
Yeah.
And,
I'll get some of the legendary MiniWargaming dice.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So
they only roll 6s.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. So look, thank you very much. And back over to you guys.
Fight for the Iron Kingdoms as a warcaster. Take control of the mighty jacks, arcane devices, and dark sorceries to bring the fight to the War Machine Hub on beastsofwar.com. Progress comes to a world of magic as science and the arcane combine to make marvels. Meet steampunk inventors and orc mystics at the Volsung Hub on beastsofwar.com.
It would be absolutely criminal if we leave it as long again before we get Matt back on the show.
Yeah, I had fun with that.
Yeah, and hopefully, Dave, you make it over again at some point soon as well.
Not over again, over.
Yeah, well, make it over. That would be great. Okay, we're going to be closing the show now, but before we go, we just have a very quick thing to show you. Demigods Rising Evolution has went to Kickstarter. Now, Demigods Rising has had a previous Kickstarter that was funded to create a board game with the plastics and so on and so forth.
Yep.
They are running an additional Kickstarter called Demigods Rising Evolution, which is to allow them to produce some kind of almost like ultra high class resin collector pieces versions of the miniatures. If you were a Kickstarter, if you were on the previous Kickstarter, you have the option to do an upgrade where you save a ton of money and you can upgrade and go with these collector pieces.
And aren't they just beautiful?
Or you can just stay as your Kickstarter and wait for that one to deliver. We will be finding out more about how it all works and what it all they're doing, either in a live hangout or an article interview or something like that very soon. But in the meantime, they wanted to show off to us some of the new miniatures. Now, the key here, they're now for these miniatures, they're working with Protoss, which is a big tick from me already because we're seeing so much really good stuff coming out of Protoss. They are on fire at the moment. So, Justin, what are the pieces that he sent through? Now, these are the basically the resin collector pieces. Yeah,
they're absolutely gorgeous. So the first up is our lovely little orc lady. So you'll remember her. She has already been done in the previous one.
Yes.
This one, they've retooled her. They've really sharpened up a lot
all of these
the detail.
all of these have been resculpted as
Yes,
well.
yes.
So it's
Yes, so they've resculpted her. They've sharpened up all the detail in around the big snake bone whip.
yeah,
They've added in the spear, and they've really cleaned up the details in and around her body.
it's an incredible looking miniature, isn't
Yeah,
it?
she is absolutely gorgeous. I want Roman or John to paint one of these.
Yeah.
I did say or John.
what I really like about this game is, we'll try and get a link to the previous weekender where we talked
Yep, that's
through
not a problem.
the actual game rules.
Well,
I believe Evolution is got even some streamlining and stuff to the rules, but again, we'll be looking at that in the future.
Yeah.
But the art direction of this game is incredible. The art behind it, and just the whole conceptualization that they've had for the game has really been blowing me away. So,
Yeah, but it's the translation from that visual art to the actual mini, because this is one of the elf characters.
yes,
And this is pretty much 99.9% the same as your artwork to a
Yeah.
match for detail and basically form and figure. And it's fantastic.
And strangely for me, probably the favorite out of the bunch.
Really? This is your favorite?
I just looked at it and went, I actually do want to paint that. The other stuff, yeah, I'll do that as well if I'm asked, but that's my favorite out of the bunch.
one of the more interesting things that I'd read on the Kickstarter is that the miniatures that are available on the Kickstarter, so that's these resin ones, each come with a couple of customization options. So you might have 2 heads or 2 weapons and things like that to allow you to do to change the poses slightly on them as well. So.
Well, that brings us nicely to our next mini, because he actually has his other option. So the original option of this guy is 2 big bulky shields.
yeah.
So your option on this is adding in this nice detailed spear. Now,
No,
there's a little bit.
there's
of
a little bit of a
in
curve in that, but
It's
we need
easily
to take
fixable.
we need to take a bit of a hairdryer or something to that just to move
Yeah,
that. But we don't want to muck around with it
Yeah,
in case we break it.
yeah.
So
Basically, there was a moment before filming started where I looked at it and went, "No, not doing that.
We
not
don't want to
doing
break
that."
it. We will fix it.
Yeah,
So.
but again, you can see the detail is incredibly
the
sharp.
detail on
The
that
guys
shit.
that put
Look
this have
at
done a
that cape.
fantastic job. Yeah, the lion cape.
Oh,
That's awesome.
It's glorious, isn't
Really
it?
awesome.
And then all the segmented armor in and around him. So nothing has been left wanting on these. They're absolutely glorious.
And there's even a wood
Yes.
texture on the shield now.
Yes,
as
the
well
actual
for this one.
inlay of the shield for wood is
Okay,
actually
let me have a
sculpted
look.
in there.
and it is too. It is too.
It's really
That
nice.
means it washes and things. Like if you put a wash, even a wash and a dry brush done well on this, it's just going to go whap
Yeah.
with detail.
Or, as Roman always says, it's easier to paint an incredibly highly detailed miniature.
Yes, they'd
if
almost
you
paint
are-
themselves. Yeah.
Well, if you are a painter who is looking for that project that you're really wanting to go to town on, there's so much detail on this for you to enhance.
Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely blinding when you're
But
finished.
even if you're an amateur painter, I have
Very
found
true.
that the more detail that's on a model, the easier it is to paint.
The
One of
less-
the things I struggle
Yeah,
with is
yeah.
big flat areas.
Yes.
Because they either look very boring or they're very difficult to do anything to.
There's almost it'll sound a little condescending, but there's less thinking involved when you've got a highly detailed model because you're like, I know that's wood. I know the color of wood. I'll paint it that
Yeah.
and wash it. It looks like wood. It's simple as that. I
Well,
like
this,
that.
This is something Roman has continually came back to in his tutorials is miniatures like this. If you're beginning your painting project,
Yeah.
once you move on to miniatures that then don't have that, you've already worked through it with this miniature. So your mind can already go, well, that's wood. So how did I do it on that? So there's what's missing. There's what I need to add now.
Ah, that's interesting. Yep.
Yeah.
Who else have we got?
Okay, let's move these 3 out of the way. We have our lovely little rogue character with a crossbow mounted on his wrist.
Oh, very nice.
He is really, really dynamic in his pose. He looks like he's just sneaking stealthily along, ready to stab someone in the back.
Jumping
Yeah.
across rooftops.
Always fun. And then you've got lovely little bits of leatherwork in and around the upper shoulders here. where
Yeah.
It's leather strapping and stuff. We then come to my favourite of the bunch.
I wonder why.
We have a dwarf.
Yeah.
But he
And
is a
they've act-
steampunk dwarf.
Yes, and they've actually sculpted the smoke coming out of the exhaust.
Yeah.
That just, it makes it cute, it makes it funky. And I've seen some of the painted ones for these. They love their glow effects.
Yeah.
Whenever they're on the Kickstarter.
Make sure and put some pictures in so we can
of
see
course.
these. Yeah.
But they look absolutely glorious. I keep saying glorious. It's like you're bloody stunning.
Yes. Yeah.
It deserves it. As soon as you get the glow effects down on these, the miniatures just start to pop and come to life.
Yeah.
You know? And our last mini, which is ever so cute, is
It's a dog.
it's a dog. Do you like dogs?
I like dogs.
You like
Yeah.
dogs? You like dogs?
No, is the dog a companion or a character on its own?
I am
Do we
not
know yet?
sure.
We're going
I
to
am
find
not
out.
sure.
So
But even the detail on this, I've known recently, or not recently, but within the last couple of years, we've mentioned that sometimes whenever you see fur sculpted, it's never as good as it used to be.
yeah,
This is dragging me right back to some of those fantastic older miniatures we actually saw really nice stylized fur on animals and
Yeah.
pelts and stuff. And again, it's another lovely little one.
absolutely.
what
It's
more can be
excellent.
said?
Yeah, there's nothing else you
The,
can say.
the
about
guys over at Demigods Rising have done a fantastic job. Now, this you don't know. We are currently waiting for the guys over there to send us a fully painted set of these to show off.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as those get in, I want to bring them on and show the fully painted ones, just so we can get full 360s on.
And
close
we
camera.
will maybe even have a go at playing the game, which
All
will
right,
be a good
hang
one.
on,
So
hang on.
we'll try and do that.
Hang on. We had
I'm
a got
challenge you, yes.
right. We had a
Justin-
gauntlet out last week. Now
Justin-
he's keeping it in house.
Justin beat me the last time we played
Yeah.
this, so I think it's time for a rematch.
All right.
Guys, we're going to call it at that. Look, a big thank you to you all for watching the show. Remember that tomorrow morning we're going to have the XLBS version of the show. It's a whole other show for Backstagers. We have a load of interesting topics that we're going to cover. Next week, we may not have a weekender. We will almost certainly have an XLBS next week. So just because there's conventions and stuff happening, and it's just about to run into the final week for the boot camp.
Yeah.
So we're not actually sure if we're going to be able to get a weekender out. The week after that, we're going to be live blogging the Infinity boot camp. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up now. So if you want to get your fix of the weekender next week, it's probably best to come on over and join Backstage and start enjoying XLBSs, because there's a whole load of them already there. So if you're sitting painting, you could be sitting listening to a ton of XLBSs where we bring you up to date on all the latest and the greatest that's happening in the world of miniature gaming.
One quick question:
Yes.
do we still have our free trial running?
We do still have a 7-day free trial. So we'll have the link below. So if you want to try it out, you can try it out for free for 7 days.
Cool.
Easy peasy. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure. And thank you for watching. Hopefully we'll see a ton of you over in the XLBS over on beastsofwar.com tomorrow morning. So until next time, happy gaming.
In a world controlled by massive corporations, a steady aim and split-second decisions are needed for your megacon to complete its goals. Begin your missions at the Mercs Hub on beastsofwar.com. Flames of War brings you the battles of World War II in epic 15mm scale. Go to the hub on beastsofwar.com to find news, tactics, and tutorials about the game.